anywhere.
Met Tristan Tate when he came to visit Miami. They met online and then ended up meeting in person. And, she thought he was charming and she thought he was impressive. He was really successful. He was showing off as he does. Like, she felt incredibly special that he wanted to spend time with her and that he was interested in her. She said, like, he made her feel incredibly special and she thought they were falling in love. So when he invited her to come to Romania to be with him, she was excited to go. And, they paid for her ticket to get there. She flew over to Romania. She essentially started seeing red flags and felt like things were not right from the beginning. She thought she was going to spend time with Tristan in Romania, that their relationship was going to develop. That was the purpose of her coming, that, she was a musician. She would, find work, play her music, grow her music career. But repeatedly, she's being, introduced to this webcam business and being asked if she wants to do.
A fan reportedly zoomed in and managed to catch a brief glimpse of Andrew Tate while he was in detention, and people online were stunned by how far some viewers were willing to go just to get a closer look. According to online chatter, the person seen is reportedly Andrew Tate in solitary confinement. At first glance, it might seem like just another viral clip, but reports and public discussion suggest that detention can be much harsher behind the scenes than it appears. According to posts Andrew Tate has shared on X, he has criticized his time in detention ever since his arrest, claiming there was dirty water and that he dealt with ongoing stomach problems.
He's doing a keto. He's doing a keto. No.
That is Andrew Tate right there. He's watching us record this video and nobody's going to offer this perspective that we're going to offer. And Andrew Tate's the only one that's going to understand it. And he's going to take our advice and he will fly us out and have a meeting and a podcast with us. Mark my...
She was a musician. She would, find work, play her music, grow her music career. But repeatedly, she's being, introduced to this webcam business and being asked if she wants to do.
He has also described the conditions in very direct terms, saying he had no visitors and that a neighboring inmate, whom he described as a cannibal, would allegedly shout throughout the night. Spending 23 hours a day in solitary confinement could make it easy for anyone to lose track of time. If the reported nonstop yelling and lack of sleep were happening as described, that kind of situation could be extremely difficult to handle. Many people online commented that even a few weeks in an environment like that could leave someone feeling mentally exhausted and deeply affected. As one post on X claimed, Andrew Tate and his brother were reportedly facing strong hostility and allegations of verbal mistreatment from other inmates at the Miami Federal Detention Center. Their lawyer has argued that they have a target on their backs because of their public profile. At the same time, those claims remain disputed online, and many critics have questioned both the account of their treatment and the allegations involving the brothers. Andrew Tate also posted, "Day 11 in the Special Housing Unit. This is punitive housing for people who allegedly caused fatal incidents involving their cellmates. No commentary, no phone calls, no yard time. The worst conditions the US Gov provide terrorists and psychopaths. I'm innocent until questions about guilt are raised. Extradition detainee. I'm wanted by a foreign state and I'm an American citizen, so why am I here?"
That is Andrew Tate right there. He's watching us record this video and nobody's going to offer this perspective that we're going to offer. And Andrew Tate's the only one that's going to understand it and he's going to take our advice and he will fly us out and have a meeting and a podcast with us. Mark my...
He also claimed that he had received thousands of letters from people in the UK. According to his own account, many of those messages called him and his brother heroes, said they had support back home, and claimed they did not believe the UK government. He added that many of the letters also asked why the United States was treating him this way, saying he wished he had a clear answer. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have faced serious allegations in the UK involving women, but those allegations remain part of ongoing legal proceedings and public debate. We have also seen a woman who has made allegations and a lawyer speaking on her behalf discuss some of the claims involving the Tate brothers and explain why they say the case matters so much. That is one reason the online conversation has only grown louder. Some people believe the situation is being presented in a highly emotional way, while others argue that Andrew Tate's public comments from detention only raise even more questions about an already controversial case. Every new post, reported claim, or shared screenshot quickly becomes another talking point, with supporters and critics offering completely different interpretations.
You don't have to do it, but just think about it. And here's someone who does it. And all of the women are living in a house together, and they're all seem to be working on webcam. And now she's in this house, right? And there's sex toys, and they're staying up all night. And people, these women don't seem happy. And all of them are in a relationship with one of the brothers, which is strange. Do they work there? Or are they in relationships? Why are they in relationships with someone they're supposedly working with? It didn't feel right. And she starts to panic. She formed a connection with another young woman there, Mary Doe. And once they started talking, comparing notes, they just realized that, they were lied to, that they were brought over here for some other purpose than what they thought.
At the same time, public attention remains focused on the case because the legal process is still ongoing. That is where the biggest tension remains, between what is being posted online, what supporters and critics are arguing, and what has or has not been established through the legal process. Whenever new details appear, even small ones, they tend to spread fast and spark another wave of debate. Every new detail gets picked apart, debated, and used to support whatever side people already lean toward. As long as that back and forth continues, the spotlight on the Tate brothers is unlikely to fade anytime soon. One of the key issues the Tate brothers could face in the UK relates to allegations that women were brought in and encouraged or pressured into webcam work.
I just wanted to leave. And she's, communicating with her parents, like, I'm just going to sneak out of here. Communicated with a friend who was a Marine sergeant. And so like the brave serviceman that he is, she just wanted to sneak out. But he had been trained. He knows he has an obligation to report human trafficking, and that, he's not going to leave her to try and figure this out on her own. He did the right thing. He made a report to the U.S. Embassy. And so that initiated a raid. And so, we don't know what happened behind the scenes, but eventually the different Tate properties were raided, the women were rescued, and Jane Doe and Mary Doe just did the right thing, right? They were taken into custody by law enforcement, and they did the right thing, and they cooperated, and they told the truth of what they saw and witnessed and experienced.
The brothers have repeatedly discussed their own version of those events publicly, and those statements have become a major focus of the debate, no matter how some people frame the case or argue that it is politically motivated. Attention often returns to what the Tate brothers themselves have said. According to their public statements, some women believe they were coming for romantic relationships, while the longer-term plan involved webcam work. That reported contrast is one of the main points people continue to examine and debate. Some viewers have pointed to discussions about the so-called lover boy method, which has been described in places such as Amsterdam. In those discussions, women are allegedly drawn into sex work through romantic relationships, while a boyfriend or partner is said to maintain significant control over the situation. According to that account, the women were operating under pressure from the men involved. Online commentary has also linked that idea to Andrew and Tristan Tate, with some people suggesting that this was the kind of dynamic being alleged in their case. Others have argued that the same approach may have been used with multiple women, and that the real objective was to bring them into webcam work. Those claims remain disputed and are part of the broader public and legal debate. Some people on Reddit have suggested that UK prisons could end up being less restrictive than the conditions Andrew and Tristan Tate are reportedly experiencing while they wait for extradition. One commenter even joked, "I'm sure he'll keep us updated on his Twitter about what it's like." But while looking through documents connected to the UK case, one detail stood out more than almost anything else. According to the documents, there was a reported offer of £20,000 connected to a request for the identities of the women making the allegations to be revealed, and that request was not accepted. According to the document, on August 11, 2025, the CPS reportedly rejected the request again, stating, "Whilst you've offered the undertakings that your clients will not disclose the complainant's identities and would pay £20,000 if they did do so."
Be in charge of her own phone contact with members who like her. You are setting yourself up to get scammed. All she has to do is type a sort code and account number to a member, and that has happened to me before. I went to the room, smashed the room up, told her I knew what she did. She sent me all the money, but that has happened to me before.
In simple terms, the defense was seeking access to the complainant's identities, but the request did not move forward. Their legal team has reportedly argued that revealing the identities of the women could expose them to a wave of cyber harassment and online abuse, making it more difficult to ensure a fair legal process. According to that argument, the complainants could face intense public attention and online attacks if their identities became public, which is why the reported £20,000 undertaking was included as part of the proposal discussed in the court documents. In other words, The reported request was aimed at obtaining the identities of the people making the allegations as the UK case moved forward. That application was rejected and the complainant's identities remained protected. The discussion often circles back to the brothers' own public videos about starting their webcam business because many people believe those clips created a lasting digital record that continues to be examined. Critics also point to courses the brothers sold, saying those materials have led many people to revisit their own public statements about how women became involved in the business. Because of that, much of the online debate focuses on what the brothers said themselves and how those comments are being compared with the disputed allegations in the ongoing legal case. What makes the entire situation so controversial is that the internet keeps pulling the story in two different directions. Some people see the brothers' public comments as an important part of understanding the case, while supporters argue those statements are being taken out of context and that the online reaction has exaggerated the situation even further. That gap is exactly why this case continues to attract so much attention. Much of the debate is no longer just about the allegations themselves, but about how people now interpret them alongside older videos, public statements, and the wider controversy surrounding the brothers. Once those comments are made publicly, they remain part of the conversation, and many people continue comparing them with the disputed allegations and ongoing court developments. That is also why every new update seems to spread so quickly online.
The prosecutors in Romania allege that Andrew Tate was in charge of the business. In the past, he's played up his role.
I had 4 premises and I had 75 girls on the books. They weren't all working at once, but I had 75 girls who would do like 1 shift a week or 3 days a week or 7 days a week. 75 women worked for me at the peak of it all.
So how many women worked for you?
Don't know. Can't remember.
You were saying 75 at some point?
Yeah, that's a complete lie.
I'm not making up the numbers.
Sure.
Everything I'm saying now is everything I've seen on your website at some point.
It's difficult for me to say exactly how many women worked for me. I can't think of a number. There was a while when I was involved in managing some women. This is 10 years ago at the very beginning of it. And I made some money, but it's not the beginning of my empire. It's not why I'm successful, and it's not something I have anything to do with anymore.
Viewers are no longer reacting to a single moment. Instead, they are looking at the bigger picture, connecting past statements, recent developments, and the ongoing legal process as they form their own opinions about the case. People are aware that in the UK, especially in high-profile cases involving celebrities or public figures, old videos, interviews, and social media posts can sometimes be presented in court depending on what a judge allows. That is one reason so many people are paying close attention to clips like these. Because of that, some commentators believe the brothers' own public statements could become an important part of the legal process if they are admitted as evidence. Others argue the case also highlights broader concerns about alleged manipulation and exploitation that people say deserve more attention around the world. Those opinions remain part of a much wider public debate. It also appears that Andrew Tate's outspoken online presence brought even more public attention to the case and to the investigations surrounding it. At the same time, his years of interviews, videos, and posts have created a large digital record that could be closely examined during legal proceedings if found to be relevant. In today's world, public comments made online can continue to be scrutinized long after they are posted, even when someone later argues they were misunderstood. Critics have pointed to statements Andrew Tate made years before he became widely known, arguing that they are consistent with some of the allegations now being discussed. Supporters strongly disagree with that interpretation, making it one of the most heavily debated parts of the case. Andrew Tate had a controversial kickboxing career, but some commentators argue that he likely would not have had the financial resources to promote his content across so many platforms without first building his webcam business. That view remains a matter of opinion, but it continues to spark plenty of debate. According to that perspective, the business was the first major step that helped him build the wealth needed to expand his online presence. Some people argue that without it, Andrew Tate might never have reached the level of fame and influence he has today, at least not in the same way. Andrew Tate wanted to build wealth, but some people argue he probably never expected his rise to unfold the way it did. Many online commentators say his profile exploded during the COVID pandemic when millions of people were spending more time on their phones and social media than ever before. His clips spread rapidly, kept people talking, and for a time he was widely reported as one of the most searched people on Google. That level of attention meant more people wanted to learn about him, and the online conversation only became louder. Once someone reaches that kind of public profile, old videos, social media posts, interviews, and past business activities often get revisited from every angle. Critics argue that is when the pressure really starts to build. Many people online believe the internet does more than simply spread a story. It can also influence how that story is remembered over time.
The women said they were not allowed to leave the house on their own. How much freedom did the women that worked for you have?
They didn't work for me, they worked for themselves, and I helped them with a few things. I had less control over them by helping them out than any normal boss of any normal job would have control. I just helped them find a cameraman. And the idea that I had control is absolutely insane. I had less control than the boss at McDonald's has over McDonald's employees.
But Andrew, what you're saying is diminishing your whole webcam business to just being the person who found the cameraman for the
Correct.
women.
I'm telling you, there was never a substantial webcam business that made £300,000 a month.
So you lied about it?
It was, I wouldn't say it was a lie. Certainly there's been a lot of exaggeration online. I'm certainly not the only one guilty of it. I think everybody on Instagram is exaggerating. Filters exist, rented cars exist. People exaggerate on the internet. I'm the only person who's being punished for it.
That is why viewers continue pointing back to Andrew Tate's earlier content and the decisions that helped shape his public image, arguing that the digital trail left behind can remain part of the conversation for years. Supporters may argue that people are reading too much into the situation, but critics keep returning to the same point. Once someone reaches this level of public attention, very little stays private for long, and old videos, posts, and interviews are constantly revisited. After looking at the public discussion, some people believe Andrew Tate has certain arguments worth considering, but that does not mean the allegations or legal issues surrounding him have been resolved. Those matters remain part of ongoing legal proceedings and public debate. Some commentators also point to a broader trend that has been discussed online in recent years, where certain influencers were accused of encouraging women to join platforms such as OnlyFans.
I wasn't even trying to make it happen. It's someone low-key came to me about it, or I was talking to someone about it, and it all kind of just happened. And then from there, I kind of never looked back, and I just kept scaling it.
How many girls do you have now?
Right now, I have like 6, 7, but I had a lot, double that at a point. But I kind of just keeping it small and just focusing on just making everyone as big as possible. Because sometimes you have to spread yourself too thin across too many people.
Critics argue that depending on the circumstances, pressure or deceptive tactics could cross the line into manipulation or exploitation. They have also discussed reports involving large houses where content was created, with some online discussions questioning whether everyone involved freely agreed to participate. Those claims depend on the specific facts of each case and should not be treated as applying broadly. Because of that, many people believe this conversation extends beyond Andrew Tate alone. Some argue it raises wider questions about influencer culture and online business models, saying similar concerns have been raised about various public figures, not just one individual. The Tate case is widely expected to be more complex than many others because the brothers reportedly sold courses covering topics related to their business activities. As a result, there is a large digital record of interviews, videos, and online material that many people believe could receive close attention during legal proceedings if it is considered relevant. That extensive online history, combined with the serious allegations being discussed, has made the case a major topic of debate. Claims of this nature can be difficult to prove in court, and the outcome depends on the evidence presented.
People on Reddit have been saying that UK prison.
We have covered other high-profile legal cases on this channel, and every case has ultimately come down to the facts and the evidence examined in court. It will be up to the legal process to determine how these allegations are addressed and what evidence is presented. If the reported legal proceedings continue, many commentators believe the case could take a long time because of its complexity and the amount of material involved. If you found this breakdown of the digital trail and the issues surrounding the case helpful, like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment below.